Absolutely. Can I just ask now, what are we thinking with Rockbusters? Are we sticking with this, or because I really thought we'd cancelled it.
What about that format we've just done where there's like two...
This is another off-air discussion, I think.
Well...
I just feel the listeners should be able to contribute.
They do.
Yeah.
They phone in and say, the show's rubbish, move on, can we experiment on Carl? I'm a doctor.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to tattoo on
Would he
Carl's
like
head.
a tattoo? Yeah. Oh, dear.
Carl, have you got any tattoos? Have you ever thought about that? Any kind of piercings?
Don't like the idea. Don't mess with your body and that.
Okay.
He doesn't like the human body, he's scared of it.
But I told you, didn't I, about me uncle, Tattoo Stan, we've talked about that, haven't we?
Yeah, Tattoo Stan, yeah.
Yeah, he's got loads, and I think now he sort of, looks in the mirror and think, oh, what have I done?
Yeah.
But then again...
So do you.
I was telling Ricky before about someone who had a tattoo. It's a bit horrible, really, isn't it?
I don't know, I can't remember.
The skin thing.
Oh, God, yeah.
You're not going to tell us it?
Again, I'm hoping it's not true, because it's from Carl, but it's pretty disgusting. But, unfortunately, because there's no paranormal or animals acting like humans involved, I think it might be true. It's a fellow who kept his dad's tattoo.
Yeah, he just sort of, when his dad passed away, he got the skin off and put it in a frame.
Who'd you ask to do that?
Oh, man alive.
Ashes to ashes, dust, sorry, before we bury it, you don't...
Before we cremate, and I've got a Stanley knife.
Do you do any other services? Like what, my son? I'll just pop some of him in a jar for me. I'm sorry? How do you, I mean,
I bought this clip frame from IKEA.
Yeah.
You just slip that between
$4.99.
Yeah.
I
imagine your father is a man who's probably appalled by the idea of tattoos, earrings, things like that. I imagine he's quite an old school gent.
He's never sort of said anything, but,
If you came back with an earring, what would he have said when you were a youngster?
I never saw him that much as a kid, so I don't think he'd have noticed. My mum would have said, what have you done that for?
Yeah.
Our kid had a tattoo. And an earring.
Sorry, is this the one that borrowed a tank from the army to go and get a packet of fags?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
We must tell that story again next week. For those that are fairly new listeners, that's got to seem tantalising.
Yeah.
Your brother once drove a tank down to the local shops to buy some cigarettes. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
It's an extraordinary story.
But that's it.
It was that other auntie you told me about in the week. Not Auntie Nora, the one that farted for 5 minutes, but there's another auntie you talked about. How many aunties have you got?
I haven't really got another auntie. I've got me brother.
Yeah.
Who I haven't seen in ages.
Yeah.
My sister I hadn't seen for about 12 years, then I saw her again, and then she got fed up because I said...
Oh, she had a new kid and you went with her all the same. I've seen one, I've seen them all.
Yeah.
Imagine saying that to your sister.
Your sister, you haven't seen her for how long?
I hadn't seen her for about 12 years, and then for some reason I met her in a car park in Wales.
Right.
And,
it's incredible, isn't it?
For some reason.
Yeah.
And, she got in the back of the car and she said, oh, I want to show you something, right? And, she got this picture out and said, look at that. And it was one of my new nieces and nephews.
It was her daughter,
boy
or her son.
Yeah, or whatever. And, she said, look at that. And I said, oh. And I sort of said, well, there's no point showing it me. All babies look the same,
There's no point in showing it me. It just takes 2 seconds of your life. You go, oh, lovely.
Yeah, right.
That's all you have to do.
If it was a first...
Yeah.
I'd say, I'd show a bit of interest even though
do you think the novelty wore off for her with the second kid, third kid?
Sixth kid. I think even she should be bored of looking at pictures of babies.
Kind of a woman is she? And can I get her phone number?
Right, is that it then?
Play a tune. Have we got, is this it? Have we got to wrap it all up?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I forgot to bring in a song for the ladies this week, so I thought I'd play a song for people who enjoy the work of Deep Purple.
That run and run.
Here's Deep Purple, see you next week.
Bye. For Nancy on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant.
Hello.
Pilkington. Steve, you got any other toilet-related anecdotes?
Rick, my life is just full of toilet trauma.
Yeah.
And Carl, you may not realise this, but a while back I used to host, this is bizarre, I used to host a radio show on the BBC World Service, right? Now, if you want someone who's the voice of integrity, the voice of intelligence, the voice of a nation, you're going to come to me. That's obvious. And I was broadcasting to... Now, they've got listeners of something like 50, 60 million people around the world. It's mental, the listenership of the World Service. And I used to host this show with someone
else. It's a big place, Steve.
The World?
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And anyway, so I had to be into Bush House, where they broadcast from, 10 o'clock every Friday morning to broadcast around the world to 50 million people, right? And one week, I went to the toilet in my house, right? Everyone had left. I got there a bit late. I got up a bit late. already against me. The clock was already against me. Had to be there at 10 o'clock, broadcast around the world. And we got 2 toilets in our house, downstairs one, right? And the door had already been a bit dodgy. It was one of those doors where you had to give it a bit of a kick as you went in. It was getting a bit tight. I don't know what the wood was expanding or something. I'm in there, and same thing again happens. No toilet paper. I think, oh God, I'm gonna have to somehow kind of make it up.
Why don't you check first?
I normally do, Rick. I normally do. It's just on certain occasions when I'm bleary-eyed or something, I forget, or occasionally I forget. Normally I do check.
Right.
And you've got to bear in mind that it's not like this is happening every week. This is over the course of many years that
Sure.
these incidents have accumulated. So
You've condensed them.
for the
two
purposes of
incidents.
this anecdote.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes. And great. You're just brilliant to keeping the pace up of an anecdote there, Rick. You've just drawn in. I don't know where I am now. Anyway, I know where I am. I'm trapped in a toilet with no toilet paper.
Yeah.
That's where I am. And I'm thinking maybe I peel off some of the wallpaper, things like that. But there's nothing I can do. I got to go upstairs.
Newspaper.
Well, exactly. But I have to go upstairs and find
Toilet paper. Was there any?
There wasn't.
There
sadly.
wasn't. Oh.
I'll have to go upstairs and maybe find a notepad or something like that. And so I try the door, right? The door's wedged. I'm pulling on the door, and I can't get the door open. It's just like it won't come open. And it's already... And I knew it was going to come to this at some point. Like, this is like... The clock's ticking. I'm trying to pull the door open. Trousers around my ankles again. And I'm thinking, well, what I could do is I could open the window, I suppose, and like try and climb out. But not really, because I got the trousers around the ankles. And that's
Or if it was raining, just stick your ass out. 2 birds with one stone.
Sadly, it was a beautiful day, Rick.
I call it the World Bee Day.
And so what I'm thinking is, I got my mobile phone in there, luckily, because it's in my pocket. I'm thinking, well, maybe I could phone... I was seriously thinking,
Kleenex.
maybe I'll phone the fire brigade.
By this point, I need just dried.
No, it hadn't. It was...
Hold on. Was that little puppy not around? Because sometimes you can call that. It's got a little bit wrapped round it.
Listen.
Or
This is
just
a
use the
serious
puppy
issue.
itself.
There's 50 million people around the world going to need to hear my voice in 30 minutes.
Exactly.
And-
Where's Steve? He's not locked in the toilet again, is he?
Exactly.
Oh, no.
So I'm thinking about phoning the fire brigade, and I'm thinking,
Sure.
like, if I do that, it's gonna be the first call that goes straight on the speakerphone
Yeah.
for like the entire fire brigade service
With a
everywhere.
butch hero carrying you down over his shoulders with your trousers around your ankles. Can I
Exactly.
just not pull him up? No. You've got to be taught a lesson.
Yeah. But I imagine the idea of phoning up and going, hello there, I'm trapped in a room in my house. Oh yeah, which one is it? Oh, I
It's
don't
quite
need
small.
to know.
It's quite small. Is it?
Yeah. It's not the toilet, is it? Because we don't want to come up and rescue someone who's trapped in the toilet.
Which
No.
service do you require? Paper?
So I think I can't find the fire brigade. The clock's ticking. So then I think one of my housemates is still in the house, but still asleep. So I phone the house number. Right, phone rings and rings and rings for ages, and eventually he answers the phone. Right, gets out of bed, answers the phone. Yeah, hi, it's Steve. All right, what's wrong? I'm
What are you doing?
downstairs.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I didn't wait. I don't know. What are you doing? Oh, I'm just in the
I'm just
toilet.
downstairs in the toilet.
Oh, yeah, what are you
Trapped.
doing? Oh, well, I've finished what I'm... Have you got any toilet paper?
Any bog roll.
Yeah.
So he had to kind of scrape together a few bits of paper, and sort of tinfoil or whatever he could find
Yeah.
in the house.
A
right?
cactus.
Come down
Oh, no.
Pass it underneath the door, right? And then I said, "Can you move away from the door because I don't want you to hear me as I'm, wiping the." And so
You
he
didn't
did
say
it.
that?
Yeah, well, I didn't want him to. That's
What, sorry, what...
That's
you-
embarrassing.
What were you
Yeah, it is.
wiping it with? Not tumbleweed. What do you mean? What
No, but
noise?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Right.
So then I say, right, can you smash?
Why
the
was he
st-"
hovering? Why didn't he want to walk away? Will you keep your... What was it? Outside with a glass to his ear?
Yeah, yeah. Thankfully, there was a window in the door, but it was frosted glass. You could just see my semi-naked body moving around, and so eventually I said to him, "Look, listen, I'm going to need you to sort of kick the door in." He said, "Well, I don't want to kick the door in because you're going to have to pay for it, aren't we?" I go, "Yeah, but I got to go to the World Service. Well, yeah." And he was a lovely man. He's the weakest man you've ever come across. It's like if there's one person you don't want to have to throw their body weight against the door, it was him. It's like he'll snap before the door will. So he's smashing against
This
the door.
sounds like a fetish to me, though. He went in there, and there you were naked with lots of toilet paper. And you go, oh, you've broken the door down, and there I am naked. Again.
Oh, you've rumbled me, Rick. I wish I'd not told that embarrassing story on the radio. Like it wasn't embarrassing enough, you've just got to make it slightly more seedy.
Oh, so did he get it
He
down?
did it, yeah, and I got to the World Service with like minutes to spare.
Oh,
And interestingly, I told that story to 50 million people around the
You're
world.
joking.
Yeah,
did they understand?
I think so.
I mean, is that a bit of a problem when you're on the Will Service, like thinking of things that everyone can understand?
Yes.
Because you can't.
It's a bit
just
like
talk
when
about-
talking
Yeah,
to you,
yeah,
Carl.
exactly, Carl. I think you're on thin ice there, worrying about people understanding what you're saying.
No, but you can't talk about stuff that's on the telly and that because some people say, "Oh, we haven't even got a telly here."
Oh, yeah, you're listening to XFM 104.9. Play a record.